my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel, and today's video is going to be my spoiler-free review for Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. I will have the content warnings for this book linked down below in the description. This one also does have an author's letter in the front of it that does dive into that, so I highly recommend checking out either that or any and all content warnings that you can find before reading this, and yeah, let's get into it. Followed With Us follows our main character Benji, who is a 16-year-old trans boy who is on the run from the religious cult that raised him so that they don't get their hands on the bioweapon that they infected him with. When he gets cornered, he gets rescued by a group of teens from an LGBTQ+ center named the ALC and meets their leader Nick, who knows Benji's darkest secret about that bioweapon, which is fine as long as Benji uses that power to protect the center. However, it is not long before Benji realizes that Nick has a few secrets of his own. Let's go ahead and start this review off with the characters. Benji is our main character. I liked him. I specifically really enjoyed his growth and self-acceptance journey when it comes to being that bioweapon throughout the story. The story also does have a focus on anger. Benji has gone through a lot, seems like an understatement, but it is a lot to say the least. And you do really see the impact that those things and things that are happening to him in the present take on him and influence his actions. Which is something that I really liked about this story. It lets our main characters show their anger and fight back. It goes to a lot of places that many stories have shied away from. You also see Benji struggle with his relationship with religion and the trauma that he has both as a trans boy and also just in general. And I thought that he had a really interesting journey of just trying to figure out where he stands with the whole religion thing. Again, the growth when it comes to Benji, no matter what journey he was on, I thought it was really good just all around. As for Nick, he has a couple of chapters in here. I probably could have used a few more, honestly, just to get a better, fuller understanding of his motives and characters. There's a situation in here that I feel like I could have used his perspective on, because I feel like we were at one place earlier in the story and then we were at another later on, and I feel like his perspective really could have filled in that middle section for me and could have helped that situation flow better because it was important, especially for the relationships. I'm also really interested in his past, and I feel like this book could have used more flashbacks as well. There's a reveal in here that I feel like really could have benefited from that, and I do think that the story could have done more with that reveal just as a whole. As for the rest of the characters, the villains, they did their jobs at being the villains. I could have used a little bit more from the Vanguard. They felt important, but they were also just kind of there, and I feel like we didn't get to know much about them, but they also played their role fine. I also do want to give a shout out to the rest of the Watch and the ALC as a whole, because they have a lot of different queer identities and pronouns and just representation all around, which was really cool and honestly very refreshing. And you do see how these characters are bonded through the community and also the situation that they're in, because they don't all like each other. Not everyone is accepting of everyone or of certain things, and you see conflicts rise within them because of that. And some of them just aren't very likable even if they are accepting of everyone. So this book does have discrimination from within the community and also outside of it. This book is a heavy one. There's hate and there's conflict, but there's also a lot of love and found family. And I honestly would have liked to see a lot of these relationships develop a little bit more or just slow down in some cases, because what was good and really heartwarming. There's also a relationship that our main character has in here that's really complex, and I thought that relationship was interesting. I didn't necessarily enjoy the role that this character ended up playing, but it was interesting. And I do think that I liked how this book utilized romance at the end of the day. Again, I do think our couple in here could have used more development at times, but I liked them. They had some really cute moments, and I do like how this book ultimately handled them by the end. As for the setting, I really liked this. It was gothic in like a religious horror type of way, but also apocalyptic. This book had some really strong imagery, and I love this, and I loved like the whole aesthetic of it all. It was probably my favorite part of the book. The story is also incredibly violent in very descriptive and gross ways, so I wasn't always happy about that imagery thing, but it was good. I also feel like the violence had this weird combination of both feeling very real and also very cartoonish. cartoonish at the same time. This story is just very much these kids trying to survive against the odds and everything and all the hate and the violence that they're up against. This book also uses a lot of Bible verses, and I thought that they were well placed and timed. There were times where I felt kind of lost in the more fantasy moments, but I just went with it and it was ultimately fine, like I got there. I also would have liked to learn more about the outside of the town and the world at large, and maybe just like a little bit more of the how we got there. But I also think that what this book did with that was perfectly fine and good. And part of that is just me wanting more because what we got was good, and it made me even more invested and even more curious about everything that was going on, which is kind of how I feel about a lot of things about this book. I really enjoyed it, but there were a few things here and there that I feel like could have been stronger to bring this book to the 5 stars that I wanted to give it, because I do feel like it was almost there, but I ended up giving Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White 4.25 out of 5 stars. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!